way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the away.
Hi guys, welcome. I hope you're going to enjoy today's video because I certainly am. As you can tell by my posters in my room, I like Friends. I'm watching it again on Netflix for like the 4th time. So I thought, why not? I'll make a video on my top 10 favourite Friends episodes. I thought, why not? Friends has so many iconic moments and episodes, so I thought I'd share my favourites with you. If you have any favourites or you have any great lines you like from the show, pop them in the comments. I'd be really interested to know what your favourites are, because there are so many moments in this show. Right, we're going to go on to number 10. We're going to start at number 10. We're not going on to number 10, we're starting at number 10. And this is series 6, there's 10 series, episode 17, the one with Unagi. Basically, the premise of the reason why I like this episode is because Ross tries to teach Rachel and Phoebe Unagi, the state of mind, because Rachel and Phoebe have been taking self-defense classes. Ross thinks, you're right there, dog. He thinks he can help them learn this unagi. And the joke is that unagi is also a sushi thing. So every time Ross scares Rachel and Phoebe, he goes, unagi. And at the end of the episode, Rachel and Phoebe scare Ross and basically put him in a hold. And Rachel goes, salmon skin roll. Because that's what the sushi is. I love that line, it's so good. That's why it's on number 10. Please ignore my dog's tail, who is at the bottom of the screen over here. She is deciding to be hyper. But yes, let's move on to number 9, season 4, episode 24. The one with Ross's Reading, part 2. Now, the reason why I chose this is because, spoiler alert, I put that out there, this is big spoiler. Chandler and Monica to get together for the first time in London, and I was like, oh, yes, you go, yes. And that's the reason why it's on this list, because Chandler and Monica, such a perfect couple for each other. They end up together on this episode, and it's so nice. Let's move on to number 8, season 5, episode 9, the one with Ross's sandwich. So funny. Basically, Ross develops a bit of anger issues, because he has this, I think it's Thanksgiving sandwich or Christmas sandwich he has every year. He has the leftovers, he puts it in a sandwich and he eats it. But this year, at his place of work in his museum, a colleague eats it, even though it's got this note on that says Ross's sandwich, and Ross gets really angry about it and he goes, what? You ate my sandwich? My sandwich? It's so funny. It's such a good moment, and it's just full of comedy. I love it. Let's move on to number 7. Season 5. Season 5 is a good season. Episode 14. The one where everybody finds out. This is when everyone finds out that Chandler and Monica are together. I think Ross doesn't find out, but everyone else does. And everyone in this episode is just trying to really get Ross not to know. It's full of some great comedic moments. That bit where Phoebe finds out and goes, oh, Chandler and Monica! Chandler and Monica! And then Rachel's like, I know. And then Ross comes in there, gotta distract him. It's just such a funny episode and full of so much comedy. Fantastic episode. Let's move on to one of the most iconic and recognisable quotes from the show. Number 6, season 5, episode 16, the one with the cop. Title is very misleading, but this is that famous pivot episode. And the reason why it's on this list is because of that line, and it's so funny. Ross buys a couch because he's moving into his apartment opposite Monica and Rachel's apartment, and Rachel, Chandler and Ross are taking this sofa up the stairs, and they're just trying to get it around the corner, and Ross goes, pivot. so good, so funny, so iconic. Right, we're halfway there. Now the next one is a bit of a rude title, so if you're a child, please cover your ears, because I don't want to get in trouble for this naughty word. So we're going to go on to Season 1, Episode 13, The One with the Boobies. There we go. Let's move on to that one. So, basically, all the characters at some point see the girls' boobies, and this whole episode is them trying to get back at them by seeing the guys naked, and it's just funny and so comedic, and I loved it. It was so good. Let's move on to number 4, Season 8, Episode 2. Again, massive spoiler alert. This is such a big spoiler alert. I cannot emphasize that enough. So, this is The One with the Red Sweater. If you've watched Friends, you automatically know what that red sweater means. So here we go. Here's the spoiler alert. The red sweater basically means we find out who Rachel's baby's father is. We think it's Tag. It's not. It's Ross. And when that happens, we go, oh, wow, mind blown. We saw that coming, but such a good episode. And I was so glad it was Ross. Now, number 3. The top 3 are my favourite episodes of all time. They're so good. But this one in particular has a special place in my heart. It's Season 10, Episode 13. The one where Joey speaks French. It's such a funny episode. Joey's got an audition, and he has to learn French for it. Phoebe tries to teach him, and they have this great interaction where it goes, je, m'appelle. And then Phoebe's like, okay, let's try faster. And then it goes, je, m'appelle. And then Phoebe's like, je m'appelle. And Joey goes, me poo poo. It's so funny. And it's just the fact that he says all the French so confidently, yet he's speaking all this gobbledygook. It's so funny. So full of comedy. So great. Right, number 2 is Season 7, Episode... It's not 7, but I wanted to go 7. Season 7, Episode 6, The One with the Nap Partners. So, the reason why it's called this is because Joey and Ross end up having a nap together. Joey, throughout the episode, tries to get Ross to have another nap with him because he says it was the best nap of his life, and just ends up trying to manipulate Ross into having another nap. It's so good, and it's so funny. I've seen some of the bloopers from this episode, and it's so good. They just burst into laughter every time, and it's just such a good one. So my number 1, there was no question that this was my number 1, because it's so good. This is Season 10, Episode 17, the last one. This, for me, is probably the best ending of a TV show I have ever seen. Everything comes together, you get exactly what you want, and the last, I think on Netflix they put the 2 episodes together, so it's a whole 47-minute episode, and everything you want in that episode is just there, and it's just perfect. I watched it for the first time, I cried, and there's a bit in it where, I think it's the last bit of the whole thing, where they all are in the empty apartment, in empty Monica's apartment. They all got their keys, they all put it onto the counter, and they say, where do you want to go? And they all say, let's get some coffee. And, when they walk out of that apartment for the last time, it's just so, there's so much memory there because so much happened in that apartment. All the characters have, moved on with their lives and going into the next chapter. It's just phenomenal. I loved it so much. And that, guys, is my top 10 Friends episodes. Like I pointed out in them earlier in the episode, Friends. And I did use this poster down here. It's got a lot of moments on it. Just to rejig my memory of the episode, even though I am watching a lot of the episodes now. But I just thought, I love Friends. I haven't done anything Friends related on here, so let's do that. And the camera is propped up on my friend's photo frame. It's the yellow door thing on Monica's apartment door. So you're propped up on that, which I thought was quite cool. I was going to wear my friend's jumper, but it's muggy and it's not warm, so I didn't wear it. But I'm wearing my Hamilton one instead, my Hamilton t-shirt, so representing Hamilton well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, because I really have. Make sure you like and subscribe down below, and have a great day.